Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Woo! Welcome back to the show. This is episode 477 of the Two Dum Yinzers. It's a slushy morning out here in
Oh,
Western Pennsylvania.
yes, it is.
I'm getting all these texts and, and these phone calls, and it's horrible outside, and there's going to be delays and cancellations. And I walked out, and it was literally a rainstorm. So I don't know. Maybe I missed the worst of it, but it's supposed to be 50
You did.
degrees. It's going to be 50 degrees today, so people relax.
Yeah, early part of the day it was kind of windy and rainy. I heard it blowing at work on all the vehicles at work and stuff. Guy come driving back in from the airport. He's like, "Yeah, the roads were kind of rough. Not the greatest, but
Yeah.
yeah, that
I think
time of
we'll
the day it
survive.
sucked. But now, right now they're not too bad.
I mean, here we are. We're in July, January 9th, and we're still haven't had any bad weather
Yeah.
realistically. So, we're kind of lucky this year. Um, I wanted to say a couple of things, Mike.
Yes.
Just a rollover from the show yesterday. I have
Hmm.
not eaten a bag of chips yet without opening with my lighter. Every single bag of chips that I open now, I have to use a lighter. It's kind of like my new thing.
Like when the studio burns down. When I get a phone call saying the studio's burnt down.
And it's a weird kind of kind of almost enjoy it. Like you're not a Seinfeld guy, but there was an
Yeah.
episode where they were cutting their Snickers bars with a fork and knife, and it
Oh
almost
God.
kind of it came a regular thing. And it's kind of what this chip thing is with me now. And I'm kind of I just open every bag of chips with my lighter. I want to keep this experiment going. And if one day I show up looking like Freddy Krueger, then you'll know that you'll know what happened. But I certainly am not having any problems with that. I think P on the board was 100% accurate yesterday when he said that this was probably done in the man's meth lab in Georgia. That's kind
Yes.
of what I'm taking away
Yeah.
from it. Um, Hold on. So Derpy was here. If you're tuning
Hmm.
in to see, okay, I see him popping in now. He's going to be here. Hollywood Derpy has to be fashionably late.
Hmm.
Good morning, Derpy.
Derpy.
All right. Uh, Derpy, are you there? I don't know what he's doing.
Who knows what
I think I
Derpy's
know
doing?
what he's doing. I think he's in a terrible mood because Michigan won the game last night.
I think so too. I think he's mad that they won.
And I'm going to tell you something. I'm kind of mad too. I had an anticipation for the game,
Hmm.
and I watched it, and it was so boring. I got to say that this college football it really doesn't do it for me like the pros do. I can't wait till they get to the till next year when they expand the playoff pool.
Yes.
I for one think this because there's 10 million colleges. I think that you should just have one big battle royal, like a Royal Rumble. Just let everybody start playing each other, and whoever's still standing at the end is the national champion. I gotta say, I'm kind of bored by the college football thing. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't
it
know.
was like you get these West Coast teams, right? They have great offenses. Their defenses are terrible,
I'm
and
not
their O line is terrible. That Michigan front seven just dominated that game. You just knew it was going to happen.
it's I don't know. It's just such a board. As I said, there's 10 million schools, and like pros, you kind of take your team according to
Hmm.
where you're at. And there's only 32 of them. College, I don't know. There's like one team that wins, and then there's 10 million schools that don't win, and everyone's not interested because it's not there. It's kind of a bore. And like I said, I think like a Royal Rumble would do the trick. Just let all the Division 1 teams play each other, and if there's one team standing at the end, they're the champion. But they got to do something with this because I was bored to tears with this game. I'm not.
You,
I
you
changed
gotta
from
let the SEC in the championship game apparently because it was a snooze fest with the Pac-10 in there.
I I'm done on the Washington quarterback. For a split
Oh
second,
yeah.
I thought he'd be a good steal. I don't want him. He stinks.
No, he's I think he'll be a pretty good backup, maybe a low end starting quarterback. These quarterbacks that are coming into the league now, a lot of them are 24, 25 years old now. Like there's not that much room to develop after that.
This guy's making he just makes bad decision after another. He's
Yeah.
chucking the ball down the field.
Yeah,
I thought,
he was
oh,
not handling that pressure at all well.
and
It
that's what
was
I'm saying. I mean, this is the best that college has to bring, and that's
yeah.
nothing compared to the pros. So I'm not.
Yeah.
I lost all interest in
Yeah.
him. I don't want
It's
him.
it's like the complete opposite of last year with CJ Stroud. You saw the way he drove that team down to where they should have won last year, should have beat Georgia with the idiot kicker, missed the field goal. Like he was
See, I
poised, and
enjoyed
he
the
and he
Georgia
carried it over
thing.
to the pros.
The
And they
Georgia
just
thing
said
was fun. I
that
see.
Georgia,
Why did I enjoy that? That was fun. These two, there was just something about these two teams. I didn't.
What you got Michigan cheating their way into a national title.
Michigan's one of these teams you either really like or you really dislike, and I think that I dislike them.
I'm kind of in the middle with them. They were my second team before Penn State joined the Big Ten back in the day because that's how old I am. But so then Penn State kept losing to them, but they're still like a team I kind of like. I liked them before Penn State joined the Big Ten, so like I still kind of root for them, but I kind of don't at the same time because with all the stuff going on with Harbaugh, there's no way they should have been there. That team. Like you cheated. You're the New England Patriots. Congratulations, you're the New England Patriots of college football. You cheated your way into a national championship.
I thought Georgia was fun. I don't know. I don't know. I don't get it. Again, I found myself changing the channel many times during the game. I just lost interest, even when it was close. It was 20-13. It was 4. There was just I couldn't.
It never felt like Washington was really in the game.
It was a bore. I don't know.
And like the games leading up to it were fun. And then this one happened. Like, ugh.
I don't know. I liked when TCU was in there. Like I said, there just needs to be more teams involved.
There needs to be Alabama. Alabama and Georgia need to be in every.
Georgia was fun. I liked Georgia. I don't know. As I said, there's a million colleges, and people generally like the colleges closest to them or where they're from, or and
I'll be right
as I said, if your team isn't, it didn't do it for me.
It didn't do it for. Hey, Derpy, are you there, bud?
I am here.
Derpy's literally hanging as we know.
Yeah, hey, buddy, I need a huge personal favor. I need you to help Ryan carry the show for like 5 minutes. I got a little family situation I got to take care of. Nothing serious, guys. It's got a bad timing on my end. So,
all right. Good morning, Derpy.
Back.
How you doing, bud?
I'm doing good, sir.
You hanging in there? You're hanging in there?
Yep, I'm hanging in. I'm hanging in there.
Did you guys watch the game up your way last night?
Yeah, it was quite disappointing.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a blah, like you and Mike were saying. It was very blah.
I don't know if it's the teams or if it's just college football in general or the way they do their postseason. It's kind of a bore. There's no
the trophy.
It's there's no real build up to it because you play and you play your season, and for most teams you get one game, you either win or you I don't know. It's college. I wish they would change, and they are changing. They are adding teams to the playoffs, which I think is a good 12. Thing. But like I told Mike, I think they should just let all 114 or whatever it is teams just play each other out. Just play.
Make it 64 like basketball.
Well, yeah, like that, or like the Royal Rumble in WWE, and whoever's the last one standing in the ring wins. I don't know. Again, I was bored. I was thinking to myself, I shouldn't be bored. This is a national championship.
I only watched it really was a rumor for the video game. That's why I watched it. I could care less who won.
Yeah.
But
I mean, just because you pick a team, I picked Washington. They were bad. They were good, but they were bad. And the quarterback, I lost. I was telling Mike I was interested in him at first, but he stinks. If he couldn't handle the pressure against Michigan, he's not going to handle the pressure in the NFL.
Yeah.
The guy's just chucking it down there blindly. I don't know. Not a big fan. I thought I was going to be a bigger fan than I was.
There was some bad play calling, but it was just overall execution. Like Penix.
I was bored. To tears. I was Derpy to tears. Damn it.
Bored to tears.
Bored to tears.
Sorry about that, guys.
I do want to talk about some another thing. Derpy, you were chirping yesterday. I got some reports back that you were chirpy again. I don't hear it this morning.
I don't hear it either. I think Derpy heard those reports.
When I read that, I was thinking about literally getting a 9-volt battery and sending it to Derpy.
I was gonna FedEx one over.
Yeah. Overnight
that freaking thing.
So it sounds better today. I don't know.
FedEx, UPS, Amazon's all going to show up at your house. Maybe DHW. I don't know if they deliver anymore.
Did you take care of it, or are you just in a whole different part of the house? What's going on?
Different house.
Okay.
All right.
I need 3 if I'm gonna. I need 3 of them though.
You need 3 batteries.
You need 3. That's why Derpy's been
Yeah.
on this show for a year now. Is he's just trying to get batteries from us.
Yeah.
Once he gets those, he's gone.
He has no interest in sports whatsoever.
No, none whatsoever. It's like I'm gonna do this show, get my 3 batteries, and bounce.
All right, guys. So this weekend it is going to be 24 degrees, possible lake effect game in Western New York when the Steelers travel to take the Buffalo Bills on Sunday afternoon. I'm sorry, in the wild card round of the AFC playoffs. It's going to be ugly. It's going to be dirty. It's going to be cold. It's going to be wet. It's going to be, and I think that favors Pittsburgh, but not so much in a sense because you know what, Buffalo is from there as well, and you know they would be used to this kind of weather just as we are. So I think it's going to be a good game. However, I think that kind of evens the playing field, so to speak. I think some people would argue that Allen is a better quarterback than our quarterback. But at this point, it's yet to be determined because our quarterback is only literally in his 3rd game starting, and I got a bunch of numbers that's going to blow your mind throughout the course of the show. But it's Mason Rudolph. I think that it's going to be Mason Rudolph. If there's if Mike Tomlin comes on TV today and says anything other than that, I don't know what I'm going to do. But guys, I'm really anticipating a big game, and I just got a gut feeling. Sometimes you get that feeling. I have a feeling we're going to win this football game, guys.
There's a lot of that going around in this area of like, hey guys, the Steelers might be able to pull this off, and it's coming down to like, which Josh Allen are you going to get? Are you going to get the one that took Pat Mahomes to overtime, took him to the limit, or are you going to get Josh Allen that we saw like 6-7 weeks ago throwing picks and not caring what's going on? He kind of reminds you of like, when Big Ben was on, there was no one better. But when he was off a little bit, things could go off the rails kind of quick. He has that, dichotomy. There's no in between. He's going to be lights out, or he's going to make some stupid mistakes that's going to give you a chance to win the game.
I don't think this is going to be a 38.
Morning, Ralph.
Hey, good morning, Ralph on the board. I don't think this is going to be a 38-3 kind of game. I don't think it's going to be a 35-10. I think you're going to have yourself a good football game.
Yep.
Again, I don't know what the hell's going on with Allen this season. Beginning of the year, people were saying he's MVP. People saying he's going to lead this team to the championship. As the course of the season went on, you see that that's not the case. Mm-hmm. He wasn't, but all in all, he is the same guy within the same skin. So who knows what guy you're going to get when you go out there on Sunday. I'm hoping the lesser of the better quarterbacks that you get from him. A couple things about this Steeler team. We are 10-point underdogs going into this football game. That's right, 10-point underdogs. I think that is one of the things that we have going in our favor, the fact that we are so overlooked. We're considered the 13th best of the 14 teams in the playoffs. Only the Packers are considered lower than we are. I like this. The Steelers need to have the us against the world mentality. I think that's their best chance of getting ready for games, preparing for games, and playing football games, is being that underdog, having that the world against us mentality. Again, they're considered the 13th out of 14 best teams in the playoffs, only better than the Packers. They're 10-point dogs. However, they are 5-3 versus playoff teams this year. They have 2 wins against Baltimore. They beat the Browns. They beat the Rams. They beat the Packers. And, of course, they lost a game on a final field goal to the Browns. And then the 49ers and Texans losses, which were both pretty early and pretty bad. But you know what? That team, as bad as we were during that streak of the 3-game loss that we had, we never got blown out like we did early in the season. So you got to maybe think that, okay, things kind of tighten up a little bit. But, Mike, what kind of feel are you getting here on Tuesday before the AFC wild card game between the Bills and the Steelers?
To me, I feel like it's going to be a tight game, a lot closer than last year's blowout. I still feel right now Buffalo. I'm leaning towards Buffalo right now, but I think it's going to be a close game. They're riding high on a 5-game win streak. We're riding high on a 3-game win streak. And Josh Allen, he's been up and down all year. He has not, he's not been like the MVP candidate we thought he was going to be. That defense, they're without Von Miller, they're without Matt Milano. That's huge. That's huge.
Absolutely, man.
Gabe Davis. We don't know his
what's
status
going on with
yet.
him, man?
I know he had a knee injury. He came out of the game. He didn't go back in. So that's giving me hope that he'll be out for.
Is that who you were sending me, Derpy? Were you sending me text about him yesterday? Okay.
Yeah, because I'm hoping like he's out, because They have a lot of they got a lot of weapons on that offense, and the less that they play, it would be a whole hell of a lot better. But if you get Gabe Davis, then you don't have to worry about Stephon Diggs, and then you can kind of lock up on their tight ends. That's what's scaring me, man, is that passing attack that they have.
We are getting
We're
KC
so
back.
thin. He's
been
KC.
activated from the suspension list.
Minka might be back.
What's Minka's injury again? I mean, he has the hand, of course.
I know he's a hand.
Not...
I think it's got to be something else. It's got to be like a knee or something too to keep him out this long.
Because he played the 1 week with a broken hand. He played with a cast.
No, he hurt his knee in that game that he came back, and I don't know the extent of it. But yeah, he's listed as questionable. Trenton Thompson's questionable. T.J. Watt surprisingly is questionable. I don't think TJ's playing, but yeah, I don't think he's going to play. But
I'm seeing best case scenario 2 weeks, worst case scenario. I mean, he could be back by the AFC Championship game into the Super Bowl if, in fact, we can make it that far. But again, the crazy season, that's why I'm not ruling anything out. I'm feeling optimistic.
Yeah.
And and this Buffalo team is not the Buffalo team that we faced last year.
No.
And you got to think, guys, 2 seasons ago we beat this team on opening day on a day that we weren't supposed to beat them. We handled their first team in preseason, earlier this year. It's not a team that we should be afraid of by any means, but those things that they do well, we have to make sure we are prepared for.
Yeah.
We have to prepare for the passing game. We have to prepare. Josh Allen was their leading rusher again last week in the in the game that they played. So I mean, there's certain things that we have to make sure that we're on top of to keep this game in check, and I think it's a totally winnable game.
Speaking of Josh Allen and his rushing, the Steelers need to game plan for him the way you game plan against Lamar Jackson.
Absolutely.
Like they
if
are.
You don't, you're going to get burnt.
They're the same guy. They are. They're the same. Yeah. They're the same guy, and you know how to play against Lamar. Play him the same way. And I think this is going to sound crazy, a hot take, whatever you want to say, maybe a dumb take, but I think not having T.J. Watt in this game will work out in the Steelers' favor. What has TJ Watt not been doing the past 2-3 weeks? He's not been setting that edge. He's not been keeping contained on that side. He's been doing spin moves to the inside, rushes to the inside. We saw last week Huntley run to that, break contain, run to the outside. We saw the week before that Geno Smith break contained, run to the outside.
And he doesn't stop the run well. Mike.
I would love to have him in there, but I'm thinking.
Here's the thing. Maybe this is what we need. Maybe we need a game where he's not playing. Maybe we need a game where Nick Herbig and Marcus Golden are the guys in there playing opposite side of Highsmith. Maybe that's just what we need. Maybe one of these guys will step up and stop the run. Maybe one of these guys can contain the outside.
Maybe
that
edge.
The things that TJ Watt hasn't been doing well. He's done things well. Don't get me wrong. He won the sack title.
Yeah, he should be defensive player of the year.
And so you're right. I don't disagree with you 100%. Of course, you'd like to have your top guy in there, but do you really see that much of a fall off? Sit down and watch the tape of last week's game. Watch what happens every snap. You get the rhetoric. You get everybody talking about this guy should be MVP, this, that, and the other. But sit down and watch the game and say to yourself, are we really that bad off if you have Nick Herbig or Marcus Golden filling in that spot? I think we might be all right with that, Mike. I'm not devastated by this TJ Watt injury. Not now, at least.
Not now, at least. No, he is. He's disruptive in the passing game, but the run game, it's a huge weakness. And you let Josh Allen start to run around, that's going to be a bad thing. And that's. This kind of reminds me of the year the Penguins lost Chris Letang. It's like sky is falling. What are they going to do? And that defense shorted up. I forget the guy who stepped up, the guy from Dallas, the defenseman we traded for. He stepped up and he wasn't as offensively gifted as Letang, but he was still offensively gifted and a little bit better defensively. Whereas Herbig and Marcus Golden, they're not the great pass rushers that TJ Watt are, but they're better in the run defense. So you're gaining in one area, losing in the other. So it has that similar feel to it, to where I'm not that worried, Yes, two different sports, but you understand what I'm trying to say here. It's, this best comparison I could make is, it's like the year Letang went down, we thought Sky was falling, got someone in, Trevor Daley, who does what he does, but not as well. And now we have two guys who do two things that Watt can do, but not as well, but still pretty well. And if you look at their sacks for the amount of snaps that they played, and you figure out the amount of snaps that TJ Watt played, these guys would have double-digit sacks as well if they played the amount of snaps that TJ Watt did. So it's not a huge drop-off.
Let me tell you some more things about your Pittsburgh Steelers. They might have other people worried, but I'm not worried, Mike. The Steelers are the first team in NFL history. Get this, guys. The first team in NFL history to finish 3 seasons in a row with a winning record despite having a negative point differential. They're freakish.
It makes no sense.
Even when
standard is a standard.
When the team is good, they're good. But when they're not good, they do crazy shit like this. I mean, who does this? I don't understand. Again, 3 years in a row, you finish above 500, winning record, and you were under the. It's kind of mind blowing.
You get blown out in 2 games, and that's going to, and you play every other game tight. It's going to skew it. So.
And that's exactly what happened. You lose that San Francisco game big. You lose the Houston game big. And every other game in between was a close game. And so that'd be that.
Yeah. Hey, as long as you're winning, I don't care. Point differential. It doesn't matter.
Steelers 10-7 in a wild card spot. Browns 11-6 in a wild card spot. Steelers a horrible team. The Browns the best thing since sliced bread. Please explain this to me. 10-7. Wild card, 11-6, wild card. You know what? This is what annoys me about Cleveland. They just don't stop talking. They don't stop. No. You know what? They're never good. They never won a Super Bowl in my life. They never won a Super Bowl, but yet they're still going to continue to tell you how terrible the Steelers are. I hope we get the Browns in whatever round. Maybe we can luckily get to the 3rd round and get these guys. I would love to knock them out. If we could knock those guys out of the playoffs, that would be the best thing ever. Just because they're annoying.
Yeah, and
it's gonna be one of the most annoying.
And all they have to talk about this year is you hear them talk about pass rush win rate. That's all they know how to say.
That's it.
That's all they know how to say. And we're better than you. We split the season series, guys. You're not that better. You're not better.
And kicked a field goal at the end of the game to win the time that you did beat us.
That was your Super Bowl.
It wasn't.
That one was their Super Bowl.
It was their Super Bowl. So they're annoying. Again, we're 10-7 in the wild card. They're 11-6 in the wild. One time after 35 years, they finish better than us, and all of a sudden, that's why I hope we kill them. I hope we get them, and I hope we crush them, just to shut them up. Fuck.
It would be nice, but I would love it to see the Houston Texans destroy them.
Wouldn't that be something?
That'd be great. You more or less.
CJ Stroud.
They gave them CJ Stroud with all their stupid trade that they made for the Deshaun Watson deal. It'd be great. That would be great. I would love it to see CJ Stroud this curb stomp them.
It's possible.
It is. Old man Flacco taking naps on the sideline to conserve energy is going to throw like 6 touchdowns. You watch.
And that would be another thing. I would like to see Flacco go down. I mean, all of a sudden he's a superstar. They pulled him off the couch, and
they all hated him when he was the Ravens. He was a bum. He's overrated. Now he's the greatest quarterback of all time.
But if we slip by Buffalo and the Browns do beat Houston, that's 3 out of the 4 teams remaining in the AFC. That's from the AFC North in the AFC side of the bracket, which I think is pretty phenomenal. Of course, consider good morning, McGyver on the board. They do got to get by the Bills first. Absolutely, there's no 2 ways about it. Nobody's looking past the Bills. I'm going to put it out there like this. Yeah. Nobody's looking past the Bills. It's going to be a tough game. However, I think there are things in this game that do favor Pittsburgh. And again, this isn't the same. Under Kenny and under Mason are 2 different things. Yeah. I think it's going to be a very interesting game. The weather's going to be bad. It's going to be 24 degrees, lake effect, and it's going to be a wild game. I'm definitely not putting them past Buffalo. I'm just saying, if in fact that they do win, this would be the likely scenario. We would get Baltimore in the 2nd round with that 1 seed, and if Cleveland does continue to win, we would eventually get them. But here's a couple interesting comparisons, guys. Mason Rudolph in the last 3 games, 716 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks, 351.2 combined quarterback rating. Josh Allen in those same 3 games, 756 yards, just slightly better in the yards, 3 touchdowns, the same amount, 4 interceptions compared to Mason Rudolph's 0 interceptions with a 259.6 overall QB rating. 259.6 is almost 100 points lower than Mason Rudolph. Again, it's going to be a good game. I'm very excited. I'm feeling optimistic, but there is a part of me that says, you know what, you could go out there and you know what, Buffalo could just outplay you, or something. Mm-hmm. So again, I do acknowledge that Buffalo is going to be a tough game. I can't wait. It's going to be exciting.
It's gonna be a good one, especially with who they have up front. Ed Oliver, 9.5 sacks, Leonard Floyd, 10.5 sacks.
And
It, that's gonna be a good one. Yeah,
that's
shit.
the difference.
Yeah, they got some good pressure up front, but the way the line's been playing and the way and how fast Mason gets the ball out, it might be able to neutralize
Like I
their
said,
front.
this is a little different than people are
Yeah.
expecting. And as I said, people are basing their opinions off of what happened most of the season. We seem to be improving. We seem to be hitting
Yep.
our stride. That's definitely not the case for the Buffalo Bills. Yes, they did beat Miami to win the division. However, Miami didn't. They might have won one game against a winning team all year. Were they worthy of winning that division? I don't think so. I think the Buffalo should have been the team. However, their inaccurate play
Yeah.
and inaccurate play of Josh Allen and the injuries on defense, that's certainly it was the equalizer. But I think this game is going to be good. Again, I don't think it's going to be a 38-10. I think it's going to be ugly. I think it's going to be sloppy. And a lot of times that does favor the Steelers. With that being said, the Buffalo Bills should also play well, in that weather as well, because they are from that particular kind of area.
Ralph, you
Says
he's a
Steelers
wildcat.
using a wildcat offense to throw Buffalo off. We
Might as well. Whatever works.
Yeah.
To me, it's a steady dose of Najee Harris. I am
Yeah.
giving him the ball 25 times. Jalen Warren, it depending on the weather conditions, are you going to trust him again with the ball? Was it just a one-time thing, or is it, hey, when it gets wet out there, is this got to get Butterfinger? So I'm going steady dose of Najee, and Najee again.
Like one thing that you got to remember too, all the talk. Well, you only beat Buffalo because they were playing their backups. Well, they get to play their starters. Guess what? We're still playing our backups. We're still playing our third string quarterback. We're still playing. We're on our fifth and sixth string inside linebackers, third and fourth string safeties. So come on.
That's kind of what worries me too. But they're playing well, man. They had that 3-game stretch where they sucked trying to figure everything out. Now they're clicking, man. They're clicking on all cylinders. So these guys might be fighting for starting jobs next year.
Absolutely, man. Because some of these guys that came in on these deals that we made in the off season on the free agent deals, they might not be around. Maybe Quan. We're going to look at that injury and be like, oh, this is an injury that kind of lingers. Who knows?
Eric Rowe might be battling to, take over for Kazee and for Keanu Neal next year.
Yeah,
those guys might be gone, and Eric Rowe might be battling for a starting spot next to Minka Fitzpatrick. So
if he plays the way he played the other day, he played really well.
He's getting better game in, game out.
Also, Mike, the Steelers rushed for 1,452 yards since week 9. That's only second in the entire NFL. You got to like that, Mike. 1,452 yards since week 9. And Najee Harris has graded the highest Steeler since week 15 with an 85 overall rating. So watch out for Najee.
Yeah,
and as Mike says, if Najee sometimes he doesn't hit the hole fast, or sometimes he doesn't have that day, watch out. Jalen Warren is certainly a good compliment.
Yeah, and it's nice to keep both of them. And it's nice to see Najee playing the way that we know he can play. And it's nice to see that he found it in himself to get back to this form, because my God, early in this year, he couldn't. If the hole wasn't wide open for him, he wasn't hitting it. Now he's getting that confidence of the hole's not there. I'm going to make the hole, or I'm going to run and trust that it's going to open by the time it's getting there. And it is getting there. And that's making the making the team so much better. Make that line is just performing so much better as well too.
Yeah.
Yeah, Levi Wallace, James Pierre got to go next year. It gots to go.
Of course, he's talking about Ralph on the board. Says Levi Wallace, Deadwood, James Pierre, Deadwood. I always thought that about James Pierre. I was never really sold on him. Levi Wallace is the one that I kind of hung in there with, because I mean, he came to town
last year.
He had a good reputation. He came from Buffalo. He was a good corner, and he was. I mean, he's doing enough. I don't. I mean, the fact of the matter is, if you're not the best person at the cornerback position, you do get burnt. There's going to be times that you do, and even if you are the best, you do still get burnt at times. I haven't given up on Levi 100%. I think for what we have right now, he is that corner, and he's going to be there. But as far as James Pierre, I haven't seen anything. I can't say over the past couple seasons that I would even consider keeping Pierre around.
No. Dead weight, cut him. Send him and Mitch out on the same boat.
Yeah.
And Chooks.
Bring on Corey Trice.
I can't wait to get a good look at Corey
Yeah.
Trice. Also, this is the official sack results. It is in. TJ did win his third sack. He led the league in sacks 3 different times. The only player to ever do that. Mike, here is the official top 5. TJ Watt, 19 total sacks to finish out the season. Josh Allen from Jacksonville, of course, he finished the season with 17 and a half. Trey Hendrickson from Cincinnati finished with 17 and a half. Khalil Mack out in Los Angeles with the Chargers, he finished with 17. And Danielle Hunter from Minnesota, 16 and a half. Not a lot of movement amongst those guys because just a few weeks back, we were, when we had 16 and 17, whatever, there was people tied with us. Now TJ wins it 19, and he becomes one of the best sackers ever, one of the best quarterback rushers ever.
He's won it 3 out of the past 4 years. If he wasn't hurt last year, he probably would have been 4 for 4, which is insane. And the amount of sacks.
Even 1 year when he only had 15, he still won.
He still won the league, yeah.
So he got it with 15, and he does it the following year with 22 and a half or whatever. So, he's going to go down. And a lot of people are going to they do have complaints about TJ, and as we stated early in the show, the things that we dislike about his game. But you know what? At the end of the day, for what it is that he does, he's the best. I mean, look down the list of the great Steeler linebackers throughout the history of this team, which there's been many great linebackers. He sits atop. Nobody is better.
No one's better. And even in NFL history at this point of his career, only one person ahead of him, Reggie White.
Right.
Right.
And my God. So he's in rarefied air right now. And people want to say, it's because he doesn't get double teamed. Watch the film, he gets double teamed, triple teamed. He gets held just as much as Myles Garrett and just as much as Micah Parsons.
And I just can't believe how much those 3 don't get the call. I don't stick up for
that's
Myles.
Insane.
I don't stick up for Micah. But the way that these 3 gentlemen do not get that call in their favor, unbelievable.
And I like too, the other argument they have is, Steelers, TJ Watt's getting a lot of coverage sacks, but also the other side of their mouth, Pittsburgh secondary sucks. So which one is it?
Yeah.
Do they have a shitty secondary, or they have a great secondary allowing our linebackers to get sacks? Which, you know what? A sack is a sack.
A sack is a sack.
A sack is a sack. That's like, in hockey. It was only a secondary assist. Yeah, that lead out pass, that breakout pass wasn't important or anything.
There are a lot of assists in hockey that I think that are BS, but
there's also other ones, man. That second assist without that pass breaking.
I was going to talk. I'm going to touch on that a little bit later because we do have to talk about the Penguins from last night, and that was one of the things I want to talk about. But I will get to that shortly, guys. Also around the NFL, here's a few tidbits of information. Ooh. Christian McCaffrey, he had 70+ catches this year, 0 drops. Christian McCaffrey. This guy is you gotta and you know what? Whenever he was in Carolina, out of Stanford, I knew he was this guy. He just had to be on a decent team. I mean, they were forcing it in Carolina, and that's why. He was still successful. Don't get me wrong. Over 70 catches, 0 drops. CJ Stroud, I'm sorry, 5th rookie in NFL history to reach the 4,000-yard passing plateau. Very impressive. You're gonna like him a lot next week if he beats Cleveland.
I will build a shrine to him.
But I want Cleveland. I don't want Houston. Imagine if you get there and you have to face Houston again. I don't know if
revenge game, baby. Revenge game.
I don't know. I ain't like that, man.
I don't want to be a CJ Stroud victim again.
Yeah, Browns beat us by a game-ending field goal. That Houston game was a mess. Yeah. Yes, MacGyver. Bruce Smith was a beast. 200 sacks all time.
He should have been a Steeler.
He was a Redskin. A lot of people don't remember that. He did finish his career out in Washington.
Yeah, a lot of people had their retirement years.
Yeah,
in the early years of Dan
Deion
Snyder's.
Sanders went there. I mean,
that's when Dan Snyder was just throwing away money. Albert Hainsworth went there on a monster contract.
Also, let's see, what else do we got here? This is the first time, guys, in NFL history. The first time in NFL history that all 3 Lake teams had qualified for the playoffs. In Lake teams, I mean Buffalo, I mean Cleveland, and I mean Detroit.
Oh.
This is the first time in NFL history that all 3 Lake teams had qualified for the playoffs in the same season.
Yeah.
Does this mean anything to you, Derpy?
Detroit and Cleveland kind of held them back.
You're a Derpy. Derpy, you're a Lake guy. Is this a big thing to you, or you're just like, whatever?
Hollywood Derpy's doing his other podcast right now,
Yeah,
apparently.
I think he does this other podcast. He just lets us play in the background.
He does. He does. I don't even know if he's here. He's here. He's just like, nah, F these guys.
Maybe he's changing his fire alarm batteries.
Maybe
Derpy.
a DoorDash some over for him. They should be there by now.
But yeah, that's interesting. Also, let's see what else. This is the 19th consecutive season, Mike. The 19th consecutive season that there has not been hasn't been back-to-back NFC East champions. Nobody has won the NFC East in back-to-back season for 19 years. Kind of mind-blowing.
That's going back since when the Cowboys were dominant.
Well, no, it goes back to the early 2000s, but that's when Philadelphia was doing it.
Oh my God. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So I thought we were still in the early 2000s.
So
no, it's not 2024 here, guys. It's 2004 in my house.
What else?
Oh.
Congratulations, Larry Fitzgerald and Paul Posluszny. Of course, Larry Fitzgerald from Pitt. He was the Heisman runner-up when he was here. Went on to have a great NFL career. And Paul Posluszny, a pretty solid linebacker out of Hopewell High School, who went right where Tony Dorsett went, right next to Aliquippa across the river. Posluszny and Larry Fitzgerald both being elected into the College Hall of Fame, Mike.
A well-deserved for both. Larry Fitz is one of the few Pitt Panthers, him and Aaron Donald, that I actually liked to watch play in college. And Paul Posluszny, he was a beast at Penn State. And like you said, in the pros, he was a solid guy, but it felt like every other year he was blowing out a knee. But he would come back and have like 100 season tackles, get hurt, 100 season tackles, or 100 tackle season, excuse me.
He had broke his forearm one year. It was always something. I know.
But he was
a
shame. Hard-nosed middle linebacker, man.
He was a beast, man. Also, James Conner, former Pitt running back, former Steeler running back. He also gets 1,000 yards rushing yards this season. And Mike, that was only in 13 games played for James Conner. 1,000 yards rushing on the season. On the board, Mike is giggling at something. I have to look into
Cleveland and Detroit holding them back is like saying being legally blind, holding you back on a driver's test. He comes in hot, man.
He does, man. He's been, especially this week, he's been on the top of things. Let me see, Mike. There was also one other. Oh, there it is. You ready for this?
I'm ready.
Chase Claypool watch, baby. Claypool watch. With the Bears when he was playing, the Bears were 0-10. When he didn't play, the Bears were 7-6. In Miami, with Chase Claypool, they were 4-5. And without Chase Claypool, they were 7-1.
He is the reverse TJ Watt.
He's a bad luck troll. The guy
He is. He held back. He stunted the development of Justin Fields, and he made Tua experience concussion symptoms after he came back, apparently.
Chase Claypool.
The offense got better when he was traded away from Chicago, and then he gets down to Miami, and they can't do diddly poo. I love it.
Derpy, are you there?
Derpy.
See, he's not even there. What's he doing?
Not even there. I don't know. I'm about to boot him. So when he comes back, he's trying to figure out what the hell's going on.
I have a thing here that I was going to do for him.
But hey, Chase Claypool, he's the gift that keeps on giving for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Because, without him, we would not have Joey Porter Jr.
I have a special derpy thing to do, and he's not. What's he doing?
I don't know.
Wait, he's connecting on another thing now. I think he's having trouble. Derpy, are you there?
The saga of Derpy continues.
Derpy!
I don't even get it because on my screen I see Derpy is here twice. And he's not here at all.
Oh,
he's having trouble, so I do acknowledge that.
Oh yeah, he's having major issues.
Let me go back to the college football game for just a moment. Again, Michigan wins a boring national championship, Mike, 34-13. Again,
JJ McCarthy throw like 10 passes.
I don't know. I couldn't keep interested, Mike.
The only thing that there's a couple guys on that Michigan defense I wouldn't mind seeing coming over to the Steelers.
I mean, it's college. I don't know. Like I said, I think they have to have a battle royal and see who.
You want this battle royale, don't you?
Well, I don't know. They operate college football so weird. It's weird.
I don't know.
Let's talk about
he was 10 of 18 there, Michigan's quarterback.
Let's talk about the Penguins for just a moment, Mike.
Oh yeah.
The Pittsburgh Penguins, they beat the Flyers again. This is a great win against great weekend against rival teams for Pittsburgh.
Oh, hell yeah.
Steelers beat the Ravens. Penguins beat the Flyers again. This takes the Penguins record to 20-15-4. This drops the Flyers to 20-14-6. This is the fourth straight game. Ooh, why am I echoing?
Is there an echo?
Oh, big time, Derpy.
Derpy, I think it's you. Okay, there you go.
Better?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the fourth straight game that the Penguins had scored on a power play, Mike.
Hey, that's baby steps for all those Hall of Famers.
Also, Raquel, he has a 4-game point streak going on. He has 8 points in the last 9 games.
Yeah, since he's come back from injury, he's been smoking.
And here is your point recap, Mike, from the game last night against the Flyers. Gino, a goal and an assist. Raquel, a goal. Carlson, a goal. Ruido, a goal. Gensel, an assist. Harkins, an assist. Carter, an assist. Rust, an assist. Graves, an assist. O'Connor, an assist. Mike Muller, an assist. Derpy, an assist. I just think that you would have thought that there was 300 points scored in this game with all these assists. Yeah. That's just kind of my beef with that. I don't know.
Everyone had an assist except Sidney Crosby.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, Crosby a 4-1 game. I just think to myself, there should have been 20 goals scored with all this. These assists.
But hey, we beat the Flyer. Hey, points are points, baby. That second pass, man, can be more important than that first pass.
But what if it's not
the last one?
What if it is not important and it's just we'll just rack it up as a point, just racking out points?
Hell yeah, why not? It's like what's an assist in basketball too, man? Those things are convoluted too. What's the tackle?
It's the guy that gets him the ball. The guy that if I'm going in for a layup and the guy passes me the ball, he gets an assist.
But there's sometimes though too, you pass the guy the ball, 10 seconds go by, you shoot, and you don't get the assist on it. So there's
because you didn't really assist on it.
Is there a time limit? You pass the guy the ball, you should get the helper. You pass the guy the puck, you should get the helper.
If you help, it should count as a help. If you don't help, it shouldn't count as a help.
Well, this is hockey. Hockey's weird. Okay, they're special. They're Canadians. Yeah, they're Canadians. We got to pad the stats somehow. Otherwise, guys would lead the league in scoring with like 40 points. That's not exciting.
With all the scoring, you think that hockey was, they scored 10 points a game in this sport. Sometimes games are 1-0, 2-1. Well, but yet there's 1 million points scored in a game.
Well, okay. Why in football that you score 4 points, but you have like 28 points? I thought you get in the end zone.
That's because the scoring is by Mike. That's because scoring is by 6 points.
But why? It's still only one. You only crossed it once.
No, because it's worth.
It makes it artificial, kind of like the assist.
No, because if they would be listen, it would be equivalent if a hockey player would score, and that would be 6 points. The point is only worth a point in hockey, where in football it's worth 6 points.
Yeah, but it's still you're only scoring one time.
That doesn't matter. That's the value of the
last night. So the Penguin game should have been 28-7.
It should have been 28-7.
That would have been an exciting game, but it's hockey. Only 4-1.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. We haven't argued in a while. I'm trying to get an argument going.
Also tonight at the Pete. Derpy, what are you doing? You're driving me nuts.
What are you doing there, Derp?
My fault.
Tonight at the Pete. I heard him over there laughing. I'm ready to kill him.
I'm going to drop kick you into the Cuyahoga.
Duke, number 11, Duke is making their way to Pitt today to play the Pitt Panthers at the Pete tonight at 9 o'clock. Mike, number 11, Duke, they're coming in with an 11-3 record. The Pitt Panthers are 10-5.
I'm rooting for the giant meteor to strike the Pete.
Yeah, they never play Duke well, which most people don't. So I don't hold that against.
But they need to tonight because I hate Duke more than I hate Pitt.
Also, Mike, going back to the hockey for a second.
Yeah.
What is this going on with this stupid Stanley Cup? Of course, we're not talking about
what's going on
the
with
Stanley Cup. I'm talking about the dumb Stanley Cup that people were killing each other in Target over.
I have no idea.
A thermos, mug, whatever it is. Little girls, apparently, it was a huge sell for Christmas. And girls were actually in tears when they didn't get one of these Stanley mugs.
I have no idea what's going
on.
I have no idea. I saw this on Twitter like a couple weeks before Christmas, and it's still going on. I have no idea. These people that are into these weird niches of needing stuff, I don't understand. It's like people trying to get their Funko Pops or their bobbleheads. It reminds me of the Beanie Babies back in the day. It's a mug. It's a mug. Buy yourself a plain old thermos mug. Keep it hot, keep it cold. You're good to go. I don't understand the appeal of these mugs or the Yeti mugs. I have no idea. There's only one Stanley
They're
Cup,
nice,
and that's in
they're
Toronto.
whatever, but I mean, are they worth making this big deal? And
No, I don't know. I don't know.
you
It
remember
makes
you remember the Burple? We used to have the Burple when we were kids. They were that plastic thing that was like an accordion almost,
yeah,
and you made juice in it. And it was a
yeah,
Burple. It would
uh-huh,
remember that?
yeah. I don't
We weren't killing ourselves over them, but
know, but you know what? You see an influencer with one, so therefore you have to have one to post on your Insta that 3 people follow.
all right, Derby, I have something set up for you. We're going to jump back into football. Derby, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Derby,
Oh,
are
no
you there?
echo. Good job,
Derby,
buddy.
can
Good
you
job.
hear me? All right, Derby. So what I have 10 teams out of the current 14 teams that are in the NFL playoffs going into the playoffs. 10 of them have won Super Bowls before, 4 of them have not. I'm going to ask you some questions, and Mike, you're going to tell me whether you think Derpy's going to get it correct or not.
All right.
Oh no.
All right.
All right. So, Mike, I am going to ask Derpy a question because there are X amount of teams that won X amount of Super Bowls, and I'm going to tell him how many Super Bowls it is, and he's going to tell me the teams that won that amount of Super Bowls. I'm going to ask him. You tell me if you think he's going to nail it or you think that he's not. Are you ready, Derpy?
Is this a trick question?
No.
Okay.
All right, here we go. A trick question.
Yeah.
Here we go. There were 4 teams out of these 10 teams. 10 of these teams in the playoffs have won Super Bowls before. 4 have not. 4 of them have won 2 Super Bowls, Derpy. Super Bowl 2-time winners. Can you tell me who these 4 teams are? And it's got to be at a normal, pace because I don't know if you're looking it up or not. Mike, do you think he's going to be able to identify the 4 teams that won 2 Super Bowls that are in the playoffs this year?
No.
No? All right, Derpy, here we go. Can you name for me the 4 teams in the playoffs this year that have won 2 Super Bowls?
All right. Chiefs.
Ooh.
Chiefs. Rams.
Oh, I think Derby's hitting a brick wall.
I'm hitting a brick wall. You gotta give me a minute.
Gotta give me a minute to type it in.
Yeah, right. He's asking Alexa and Bing and Google. He's asking Jeeves.
You want to take a quick stab at any of the other teams? So far, you have guessed the Rams and the Chiefs. Now he's gonna be like, no.
Now he's typing.
He'll name the other 3 real fast. I just remembered. All right, time is up, Derpy.
Time's up, Derpy.
All right, the Rams was correct. The Chiefs was not correct. Mike, do you want to tell him who the other 3 teams were that won Super Bowls out of these teams that are in the playoffs?
So 2 Super Bowls.
Yes.
Philadelphia Eagles, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and just 2. Those are the only ones I can think of that won just 2.
All right. So the Buccaneers was correct. The Eagles was incorrect. The other 2 teams, Mike, were the Ravens, who've won 2 Super Bowls.
That's right.
And the Miami Dolphins. The Miami Dolphins. All right. So those
How
were
many
the
Super
teams.
Bowls have the Eagles won?
They've won 1.
Oh, that's right. Just 1. That's 1. Not bad. All right, Derpy.
All right. So now, Derpy, who has more Super Bowls of those 10 teams, the Chiefs or the Packers?
Packers.
Good. Packers have 4. The Chiefs have 3. And finally, this one is going to be super easy for you, Derpy. Of those teams, who are the 2 teams that have five Super Bowl championships of the 10 Super Bowl winning teams in this year's playoffs? If we could keep that all together up here, I'm looking for the 2 teams that both have 5 Super Bowl victories.
The 2 teams that will stay 5 are Dallas and San Francisco.
All right. Good job, Derpy. And that was it. So
I'm glad Derpy got those. Derpy needed a win today after his poor showing.
Well, Derpy, he finished up this pick strong. So I figured I'd throw something at him today and see, how he does with that. We have, playoff starting. I wanted to keep it playoff, keep some connections to the playoffs here. Mike, why don't you go ahead and tell everybody about the website?
The2dumyinzers.com. Over there, we have links to all of our socials. We have our merch store. We got the blog over there, all at the2dumyinzers.com.
I'm back to my board now. And I'm finally getting caught up with the rest of the world. Ralph's going out to get his Stanley Cup right now.
You gotta have at least 2 of them.
P said that Claypool's Canadian. What do you expect? I didn't know do we know he's Canadian?
Yeah. Maple. That's why they called him Mapletron.
Ralph, the Mike is getting ready. Tomlin's getting ready to do his conference here shortly. We'll find out the information from that. And P running through the world. Yeah. But yeah, go check it out, everybody. www.the2dumyinzers.com. www.the2dumyinzers.com. Lots of cool stuff over on the website. Go over there and check it out. Guys, are you ready for some Buffalo Bills trivia?
Yes, I am.
Of course, this is who the Steelers play this week, so this is who the trivia is going to be about. The Buffalo Bills. Derpy, are you ready?
Here we go.
There we go.
Derpy.
Question of the day is this, fellas. Who was the first Buffalo Bill to be elected into the Hall of Fame, guys? Who's the first Buffalo Bill to be elected to the Hall of Fame? Take a minute to think that over. Be right back with you guys. We are live 5 days a week, right here, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. every day. In the show that we do brand new every day, we upload over on Spotify and podcast form at 8 o'clock p.m. And, if you're if you missed a show, if you're in the car, if you're in the gym, anything where you're not around and you can't watch, you could always check out the brand new episode on Spotify and podcast form. Go check it out. All right, guys, here is the question of the day. Buffalo Bills question. Who's the first Buffalo Bill to be elected into the Hall of Fame? Feel free on the board to take your guesses as well. Mike, I'm going to start with you. Mike, who was the first Buffalo Bill elected into the Hall of Fame?
Jim Kelly.
Jim Kelly. Is this your final answer?
Yep.
All right, let me lock you in place. You are locked in. Derpy, who was the first Buffalo Bill to be elected to the Hall of Fame?
I'm going to go with the great Jim Kelly as well.
Jim Kelly. And now I'm going to point out on the board what P guessed. P said O.J. Simpson, guys. O.J. Simpson was his guess.
I forgot about the juice.
I'm going to lock in the participant from the board. Who was the first Buffalo Bill to be elected into the Hall of Fame, guys? Mike says Jim Kelly. Derpy says Jim Kelly as well. P on the board says O.J. Simpson. Of course, the answer, guys, was in fact O.J. Simpson, the first Buffalo Bill to be elected to the Hall of Fame. That's why I couldn't give you choices. If I would have gave you choices, it would have been too obvious, right?
Oh, yeah. I totally forgot about the juice.
Forgot about the juice. There was something I wanted to bring up from yesterday, but I can't find my notes, so I'm not going to. But Mike, talk gibberish for a minute. Maybe I could find it.
Okay, here we go. Since we were talking sacks and TJ Watt, Myles Garrett, most sacks in the NFL. 2016, TJ Watt, 17 Watt, 18 Watt, 2019 Watt, 2020 Watt, 2021 Watt, 2022 Myles Garrett, 2023 TJ Watt. Yeah. So not bad.
No, he's he's off to a good start for his career. I think he's going to be all right.
Yeah. not bad at all.
I
I
can't.
think he's a pretty good player. Get a little better run defense.
It's just
Get
Oh,
an
back into that.
atmosphere.
That's what's killing me here with him.
side note: if anybody is worried about Kenny Pickett and Mason Rudolph, good a good gesture was made by Kenny on the sidelines over the weekend. Many people may or may not have seen this at one point because it was rainy, it was cold, it was windy in Baltimore. There was reports of Kenny flagging down one of the hater guys, one of the guys that run around and make sure the players are warm with their jackets and their parkas. And he was seen on the sideline tracking down a heater guy to bring over a heater to warm up Mason Rudolph. I don't think there's any turmoil. I think this team is they're bringing it together at the right time. They're hitting their stride at the right time. As I said, Mike, the Mike Tomlin conference will be starting here. It has just started. We will be finding more out, and I'm going to go out on a limb and say that Mason Rudolph's going to get the call for this week. What do you think?
I think so too, unless Kenny Pickett channels his inner Tanya Harding and just totally kneecaps Mason Rudolph.
As I mentioned to you the other day, I think this is good for Kenny. I don't think this is a bad thing. He came out of college and they threw him to the wolves. The other guy has been in the NFL for quite a few years. He's been studying. He knows the system. It's not the worst thing in the world for Kenny to get behind him, which he didn't even technically get benched. So, they're going with the hot hand. I don't think this is the worst thing ever. What they do next year and beyond, I don't know. I would think that if they would have some kind of success in this postseason, Mike, they would keep Mason around. But how do you handle this situation going into next season?
Me, what I'm doing, I'm asking Mason Rudolph. All right, well, what's going to take to keep you here? And if it's a figure that works, you make it work. And right now, he would be my number one quarterback going into next year. He's shown that he can lead this offense, and the offense is producing the way we thought it should be able to produce, and he's doing that. And I would keep Kenny as the backup.
Yeah.
And then if he does have a problem with that, then you start calling teams like, hey, you teams who need a quarterback. Hey, we got a young guy here. We're comfortable with the guy who's going to be our starter. Former first round pick. Look for a trade partner and then sign a veteran free agent. But I would be really comfortable next year going in with Mason as one and Kenny as number two.
I still have to see what's going to happen in this postseason. That's going to tell a lot about what happens next year. Of course, Mason could shit the bed once he plays a good defense. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? I'm feeling optimistic. I think things are going to go well. I think we're going to win a football game this weekend. I do want to refer to P on the board before we do get ready to take off. Naked Gun are some of my favorite movies of all time. Naked Gun 2.5, and Naked Gun 33 1/3. I love them all. That was my
favorite title.
I did. I loved them all, and definitely a big fan. Mike, we're still about 4 minutes short, man. Anything else you got before we get ready to take off?
Mason Rudolph will start.
All right, there we go.
That's out there. Minkah Fitzpatrick, limited but optimistic.
Okay.
Watt is out, and Tomlin said the team will evaluate DeMonte Kazee to determine the division of labor at safety.
Interesting.
Yes. I don't know. Did you guys hear about what's going on with this Philadelphia Flyers prospect?
No.
Draft pick.
No.
He was drafted in, I forget, it might have been last year, and they're doing the player interview with him, and he said his favorite player is Sidney Crosby, modeled his game after him, and now I guess this guy's refusing to play with the Flyers. And so they're Keith Jones, their former bum player, and he's their president of hockey operations. He's like, oh, if someone doesn't want to be a Flyer, we'll trade him. Maybe take a look at yourselves. Why don't your draft picks want to play for you?
Yeah.
That'd be a sign for inner reflection of why don't people want to play?
Why does this first round pick
to
get selected by an NHL team, period?
Why? Yeah. I would be looking inward and go, maybe we need to fix the culture here.
Right.
Maybe we should actually try to win a Stanley Cup. How long has it been since they won a cup? Since the 70s?
Yeah, 75 and 76. And the thing is, people were talking about these people in the media, Pittsburgh, are so weird. They were talking about how the culture, or not the culture, but the media is toxic. You know what? so what if you hold your team to a standard? That media in Philadelphia is toxic.
They are
Their fans are toxic. I've never seen anything like it. It's like they hate their team.
Yeah. And like if their team actually tries to get skill players and be skillful out there, that's not flyer hockey. You got to goon it up. That hasn't worked. That's why you haven't won
in 50 years.
Yeah. You know? Yeah. That's why Sidney Crosby goes in there and owns your asses. That's why, you guys have nightmares of Max Talbot skating around the rink telling you to shush. They got your asses whooped 4-1 last night. They're trying to start fights. Gino's in the penalty box going, look at the fucking score, asshole. That's what matters, not gooning it up. But that's Philly. And that's why their top draft pick does not want to play for them. I find it hysterical. I find it funny. And they're all about, if they don't want to play for us, we don't want them. Well, shit, send them here. Send them to Pittsburgh, baby.
I was going to say Mike Freezing was the best way to end the show.
Oh, fuck you.
Did freeze for a minute.
I freeze one time.
But I do want to say thank you, everybody, for checking us out. We do appreciate each and every one of you. We thank you so much. We thank everybody on the board. You always keep it interesting. Mike, anything before we wrap it up, brother? Keep it short this time around.
You know what? I was killing time. So...
All right.
I got nothing.
Derby.
I got nothing.
Anything before we take off, Derby?
3 words. Doubt and disrespect.
I thought it was going to be
as always.
I thought it was going to be need a battery.
Philly hates Philly. That's right, P. They do hate Philly.
Derpy.
But I do want to say thank you again, everybody, for Mike at the Steelers Central's mobile studio, for Derpy over in his neck of the woods, myself here at the 2 Dum Yinzers. Everybody have a great day. We'll be back to talk to you